think you have a lot to say, and we talked about it already in an earlier part of this conversation about resistance. This is one of these magic words in change and change management, and I have my own view on that, which I don't want to reveal now. But from your work, from the earlier work you were doing as a dominatrix and your work you're doing now with your business client, what's your take on resistance? Do people resist change?
Absolutely. There is, I think we need to acknowledge that there is resistance to change, and which is so ironic because, that expression of the only thing constant is change. However, I think we're hardwired to some degree that change elicits this primal instinct of fear of, something bad could happen. And so there's that initial little flare up of, oh, wait, I might not be safe. I need to check this out. I need to scope it out. I need to, see the lay of the land before I go rushing in. And, back in our caveman days, that was important. You needed to figure it out because it's like, are there some tigers running around? Should we, should we leave the cave just yet? But, that hard wiring also we need to, drop in and realize, okay, that's the initial reaction. And so if we have people who we're leading or coaching, if they're in resistance, then it's a chance to go deeper and ask some questions and say, okay, what's going on? Why, tell me about the resistance. What is that bringing up? Where is that coming from? And getting that deeper understanding as opposed to, oh, they're just being resistant, belligerent, and whatnot. It's like understanding, okay, what's the fear? What's going on? How do we address it? How do we make you comfortable with this change?
Would you ask directly the question, what's the reason for resistance? Would you use the word resistance? Because then usually people would say, oh, I'm not resisting. How would you?
In my work, because people are, they're paying me for coaching. And so part of that is, we do have that dynamic and I have agreement to actually go there. I will use that word. If I'm working, with a team, then I would probably phrase it a little differently, like, oh, I noticed that there's a little bit of pushback here. Is there something that I'm not, understanding? Is there something that I need to know that, and to probe that a little bit deeper, phrasing it in a way that doesn't make them wrong. I think that's really critical when you're working with a team, because not everybody is going into the change willingly. They didn't initiate it in that sense. So there's always a sense of, I don't feel in control. I don't feel in charge. I didn't choose this. I didn't initiate it. And honoring that. And I think that's really, for me, that's probably one of the biggest first steps, is that we have to honor the fact that everyone in the room feels out of control to some degree, and giving them permission to give voice to that then allows us to kind of move that conversation along so that they can acknowledge what it is. Why do they feel out of control? What do they need to be put in place? Or do they just need to be heard? Sometimes it's as simple as that they just need to be acknowledged.
Thank you, Dana. And for our listeners and viewers, do you have a change project you're in? So why don't you experiment with what Dana has just mentioned? Take some time and ask good questions to find out where resistance comes from.